Hey everybody, this is Christy. Today I'll count down my family's favorite 5 camp cooking gear and recipes. We'll start with number 5, Campfire Forks. Campfire forks are an essential piece of camping gear, whether you are camping in a tent or camper. These can be used to cook sausage, bacon, kebabs, and even fruit over the fire. Today we are making hot dogs. We'll rotate the hot dogs so they are evenly cooked. This is a fast way to prep dinner, as we can cook several hot dogs at once. Be careful when you remove the food, as the prongs are very hot. Then everyone can add their favorite toppings and enjoy. The long handles are nice on a hot day, so we don't have to get too close to the fire. To finish the meal, we'll use the same campfire forks for everyone's favorite s'mores. Today we are using Hershey bars, but peanut butter cups and peppermint patties taste good too. Use the graham crackers to remove the marshmallows so you don't burn your fingers. Number 4, the cooking grate. Not all campgrounds have a cooking grate attached to the campfire ring, so adding a portable camping grate to your gear is essential. Hammer the stake into the ground outside of the fire ring, and then add the grate, which can be rotated to go over the fire. Today we are making hamburgers and beans. We'll place our hamburgers directly on the grate, but you can line the grate with aluminum foil if desired. Today we are using Cajun seasoning. Mesquite seasoning and a mixture of salt and pepper also taste great. After the burgers are flipped, we are adding a cast iron skillet with beans to the grate. Make sure your cooking utensils are metal or silicone. Plastic will melt quickly over a fire or when used in cast iron. We'll remember to stir the beans often and check the hamburgers. This grate can be used for steaks, fish, chicken, vegetables, and more. We'll use a block of wood to protect the table from the heat of the cast iron. Next, we'll add our favorite toppings and a few chips, and we have a meal the entire family enjoys. Number 3, mountain pie irons. Today we are making pizza mountain pies with white bread, pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese, and chopped peppers and onions. First, we'll butter the bread and place it face down in the pie iron. Then we'll add the pizza sauce, cheese, and peppers and onions. Since everyone can customize their own toppings, it's easier to make everyone happy. Pie irons can also be used to make breakfast sandwiches, desserts, and more. Close up the pie iron and place it over the fire. These are somewhat heavy and can be rested directly on the logs of the fire. We'll check the bread often to make sure it doesn't burn. Then we'll rotate as needed. Be careful not to touch the pie iron when removing the food, as it is very hot. Cool, cut, and enjoy. Number 2, a Dutch oven. Dutch ovens come in a variety of sizes. They can be used hanging from a tripod over a fire. Today we are using these to make a family favorite of biscuits and gravy. Instead of a fire, we will be using charcoal. First, we put the charcoal in a chimney to heat. While the charcoal is heating, we'll start mixing up the biscuits. For this double batch of baking powder biscuits, we'll start by chopping 2 sticks of butter. We always mix the dry ingredients and place them in a bag at home to make prep easier at the campground. The dry ingredients are 4 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 6 teaspoons of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Then we'll add 1.5 cups of milk to the dry mixture and stir. Next, we'll stir in the butter. Once the charcoal is hot, place 1 scoop in the middle of the fire ring and spread out. We'll place the Dutch oven on top of the coals. To safely remove the lid, we will use a lid lifter. Melt a couple tablespoons of butter. Then take the remaining charcoal and place it on top of the Dutch oven. This way your food is being cooked from the top and the bottom. After the butter is melted, use a scoop to portion the biscuits into the Dutch oven. This will give you nice, even portions. Carefully place the lid back on top to avoid any charcoal falling into the food. Next, we'll make the gravy. We will use a cast iron pan on a propane stove. Melt 1 stick of butter. Add 1 pound of the chipped dried meat of your choice. Today we are using dried venison. After cooking the meat in butter, add 1 cup of flour and stir. Next, add 6½ cups of milk and season with pepper. We will stir this almost continually to keep it from sticking to the pan. After time, your gravy will begin to thicken. You will need to check the biscuits periodically to make sure they aren't burning. These are starting to brown now on the bottom, so we'll flip them over. When everything is finished, it is time to serve. We'll crumble the biscuits and add the gravy. This is a meal that friends always stop by our campsite to help us eat. Number 1, the Camp Chef 3-burner stove. This propane stove is the latest addition to our camp cooking gear. The large griddle uses 2 of the burners. We use the 3rd burner on this stove to make the gravy earlier. After lighting the stove, we'll add the bacon. Today we are making pancakes and bacon, but we have used this cooktop to make everything from crab cakes to breakfast crepes. After the bacon is flipped, we'll start the pancakes. This flat top is ideal because we can make so much food at once. When the bacon is done, we can add more pancakes to the cooktop. Lastly, we'll add some Pennsylvania maple syrup, and breakfast will be ready for the entire family. I hope you enjoyed counting down my family's favorite 5 camp cooking gear and recipes.